All right, what's up YouTube? So market close is fast approaching. We got about 30 minutes left. I'm going to be calling out the plays. We had some big movers over 90% and some other ones as well. So if you like the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and follow the channel. So we can get right into it. The SPY overall is doing very well today. Very different than anything we've seen in the past few weeks. So a lot of the stocks followed the market today, and a lot of them even just had big runs. So these are the stocks that we have on watch. ISIG is up 90% at the end of the day. It's up 30 minutes, and after hours is going to be a little bit sketchy because it is on all-time highs. You're going to want to be careful if people take profits, and it might come down. So just find a good entry there if you are interested in ISIG. But looks like a lot of the volume is going to be down already from the beginning of the day. But this one ran up about $10 here, or maybe more at some points. So it's going to be one on our watch list. It's the biggest mover of the day. And we're going to go back to Bkkt. This one looks very strong. The candles on this are insane. And this one is one of the ones that ran where DWAC is running as well. When DWAC hit like 175, this was upwards of $30 to $40. And right now it's sitting around 20. So there's still a lot of range. And if you can see, it goes in like $2 increments. So depending on how this holds up after hours, it's going to kind of see how it can go into pre-market tomorrow. DWAC itself had a big run and it's staying strong. And they've been getting used the past few days. And this is the biggest run of them all, probably because there's more volume here today. And it's going to close very strong. DWAC is one that actually runs after hours. I mean, in comparison, this is nothing. But while the market was red, this was having a run every single day after hours. And then finally today, the market was green and it just ran up about $10, $15. And we have a sympathy play, which is actually red. But at some points, it did run up itself about a few dollars. So it's coming down. It's going to break even right now here at post-market. But it is following DWAC's trend, just not as strong. If you look at these two look identical almost, but DWAC has most of the volume. This is just more of a sympathy play, and you probably want to time your exit here and take profits, not really hold it as much as DWAC. Bfri is one that we've talked about in the past few videos. We called this one out, and it has been popping from the lows. It hit lows of $4, going up to about $6 here today. I don't expect too much more volume here throughout the next days, just subtle pops here and there, but this company has tons of news coming out early next year. They have a lot of things processing. They're going to be getting approvals on multiple things in the circulation here. So that's one to keep an eye on, and it's very cheap right now. We've seen this one run up to like upwards of $10 as well. ABUS, this one's a vaccine play since Moderna had the news with it as well. Every time vaccines are doing well, this one tends to pop a bit. This one is hitting the high tickers middle of the day, which is pretty solid. A lot of solid runners today, up 5%. And Lgbn, this one didn't really have news today, I believe. They got FDA approval yesterday, but they've been doing good. And this one I've talked about because it has a lot of range. So every time it settles around this $18 area, it always tends to bounce no matter what, if it has any news or not. So we like to keep an eye on this one because if you buy in at a good entry and it runs by itself up to 25 or more, I mean, you have a good range there to take profits, which is a good indicator. Like if you're playing other stocks as well, this one could be your hedge. So you can, I wouldn't say guarantees because nothing guarantees you anything in the stock market. But if you end up starting the day off green because of Lgbn, it's daily surge. It'll give you some room to be a little bit riskier on other plays. So we like those. We like taking good entries on those. So that's why we're looking at Lgbn. Bfri tends to do the same thing, but not from as much. DWAC as well. DWAC is very consistent with popping, but this is the first time it's actually held its strength, meaning people have more confidence in it. So this one's going to be interesting aftermarket because this one gets a lot of volume aftermarket. And if it closes strong into aftermarket, I don't know if people are going to take profits. But if it does come down, it'd be a good one to keep eyes on because it had so much volume today. I wouldn't expect something dramatically happens from today and tomorrow. It's probably going to have a lot of volume tomorrow as well. But in general, a lot of things are tending to bounce way more than they were previous days. Even just the regular market alone, like Roblox popped up. I believe Affirm hit 96 the other day. We talked about this one on the list as well. And in 3 days, it's recovered $30. So if you bought the dip on Affirm and you only had 100 shares, you're up like 3K just from holding that. So good job if you caught this one when we talked about it the other day. 96 is super cheap for Affirm. The last time they were at 96 was 2 earnings ago, and both of their earnings have been insane. Beating revenue, increasing guidance, increasing customers. If you look at the company's actual earnings and their reports, everything has been insane since this. about maybe half a year ago, and that was the last time they were at 96. And before this prior earnings, they were at 175. And we talked about Affirm because we really like it. The company in general is a good competitor to any credit line because it sets up payments for you and it allows bigger purchases to become smaller. And so it fell off of earnings, and it actually had good earnings, hit right where it fell from. It had a 3-day rundown, but it actually hit earnings, came all the way back to 175. And right here, this sell-off was nothing negative, no bad news at this point. This was just people taking profits. And it actually did start recovering at some point until they released the news of a private offering. And since that was just going to pretty much water down the entire share size, they just kind of, I mean, it's been going down ever since. And then we had those terrible market days where we were having the COVID fear and things like that, and pretty much everything ran down. And 96 was its bottom tick. But, I mean, this was kind of easy to see. Like, this is undervalued heavily. So it's starting to bounce up here, and I expect it to keep going up unless something crazy happens where it affects the overall market in general. I mean, I think this heading to 150, even 160 doesn't sound unreasonable at all within the next few weeks. So this is good though, because this is confirmation on what we were talking about. If it would have kept going down, I mean, it would have just been a waiting game. You could get even better deals, but it did bounce off $100, so that's really good. Roblox is another one we're talking about. They got a price target increase of like $180, and it was sitting around the $100 mark too. So $80 is a big range, and even if you just take a small position size, if it runs up that much in the range, I mean, you're up so much just by holding in general. I mean, if you buy a lot of things coming off of this bounce, you're going to be in good shape. Airbnb as well. Airbnb hit earnings and they were above 200. So this one's a little bit shaky because of the COVID news. Anything real estate wise usually gets a boost, but just fears in general of people not booking things because people being scared of COVID and the new variant. It did come down all the way to 165, which was kind of scary because the last time it was in that levels, it dropped down to like 160, 155. That was before earnings, and it hasn't seen those levels since. But that's kind of just a good indicator that it was very oversold because it's had good earnings since, and there's no reason for it to be that low. But that's going to conclude this watch list. If you have any other plays or calls, drop them down in the comment section, and we're going to take a look at those too. We still have after hours, so we might miss something. We might miss some news or some other catalyst, but if anything is crazy enough, I'll put it in the comments. Otherwise, this is going to be our watch list for tomorrow. Seems pretty solid. I mean, compared to the last 2 days, we were kind of watching the same stocks just because they were showing the same patterns. But, oh, this is interesting too. ISIG is coming down, so people are taking profits. I don't think people are going to forget about the stock. So if they run it down, at some point people are going to have no more profits to take. Everybody's going to be comfortable thinking that's oversold and probably come back up. So this isn't the worst thing ever. This shouldn't be anything to be scared of. Just try timing your entry very well. It looks like a lot of things are coming down here too, which is good if you're trying to get a good entry on it, because if it's oversold and you buy in, you have more risk as well if it doesn't continuation with the volume. All right, that's going to be it for this video. If you like the video, leave a comment and a like, and until next time.